Congressman Babin, thanks so much for joining us. I want to go right to a tweet that you sent out. We have it here. We know Venezuela is emptying its prisons and sending violent criminals to our southern border. Now, instead of stopping this, President Biden's made it easy for these dangerous individuals to enter America and stay risking your life. Just bring us up to speed, because we hear about people crossing the border thousands and thousands a day, and you're talking specifically about Venezuelans and also the amount of money being spent on them. Bring us up to speed on exactly what's going on.
Yeah, great to be with you today, Katrina. And I can tell you that this is very reminiscent of what Fidel Castro did a few years ago, trying to empty out his prisons in Cuba. All the evidence points to the fact that Venezuela is emptying their prisons, sending their very worst miscreants up to the United States through Mexico. And of course, the United States has no repatriation agreement with Venezuela, so it's almost impossible to deport these people back to their country of origin. What needs to happen, and of course, let me just say this, 20,000 people coming across in one city, in El Paso, Texas. It's just incredible when you think about it. And these, obviously, many of them are bad actors. And so the Department of State needs to put pressure on the countries along the route from South America so that these countries can start deporting these Venezuelans back to their own country, since we don't have a repatriation agreement with them. We've got to keep our people safe, and that is what needs to happen. Unfortunately, the Biden administration has done away with safe third country agreements, asylum cooperative agreements, etc., that had been negotiated and created under President Trump. This administration has thrown the American people and our national security simply to the wolves. That's what's happening.
Congressman, also, we understand that the Democrat mayor of El Paso, he's the one who's busing a lot of these migrants to other places in the country. But of course, we're really not hearing about that as much as we're hearing about Ron DeSantis and Governor Abbott busing migrants around the country. Explain a little bit more about why that seems to be okay.
This is simply more of the same hypocrisy that we've seen out of the mayors Mayor Adams of New York City, the mayors of D.C., the mayors of Chicago, and the people that the wealthy elites that live up in Martha's Vineyard. El Paso simply has been welcoming this type of entries across the border illegally for a long time, and now they're being swamped, absolutely swamped, and they're now hypocritically loading these folks up on buses and sending them out. Again, you don't hear about this because the mainstream media does not report it. But I just want to say thank you so much to Newsmax, who does report it, gets the truth out to the American people, and so they can see for themselves just how irresponsible this Biden administration really is. I mean, we have 100,000 deaths a year from drugs coming over the border. 750 people, migrants themselves, their bodies have been recovered on the American side. It's incredible what we're having, the mayhem, the deaths, the rapes, the children who are being sexually molested, and all evidence points that many of these kids are going to so-called families that the HHS under the Biden administration is not doing DNA tests on, not doing any kind of criminal background checks on these so-called families. And so you hate to even use your imagination to think about what's happening to some of these kids that are coming into our country illegally.